Laughing Monkey Music Show. Taylor and George Lynch, how are you?
I'm great, Sean. Thank you for inviting me.
No, I'm glad you're on. You've released a lot of music lately. I mean, you've always done a lot of music. I mean, a lot. There's a lot of projects, a lot of things I've been listening to the years. But this year, I mean, we're talking about Babylon, um, Guitars, the End of the World, right? Is that right? And Heavy Hitters 2 with Jeff, which is also really great. So first, let's talk about the new album, the Babylon one, which is great. And I think Time After Time is the newest single in the video. I'm correct, right?
I think
And
you know what I think I need to do intentionally release a bad album.
well, I have not favorites of yours, but I wouldn't say they're bad. Like musically, they're good, but I don't have a favorite. Think
No,
of it
no,
that way.
no. I'm not talking about let's like you know subjectively bad. I'm talking
Oh,
about universally considered intentionally bad. Like every solo, I'll play every solo left-handed and upside down with the worst guitar tone, transistor guitar tone that I can figure out. Right?
and that's your. And you can do a comeback, right?
Really bad tapping, just rudiment. Like I've only been playing 9 months, just play like very badly intentionally. I don't know. I think there's an art to that. I do it a lot. Well, not a lot, but I do it occasionally at rehearsals and sometimes when I'm recording just to clear my head. It's kind of cleansing the palate, you know. I'll just play something just horrible, just like I don't give a shit, but I'm focusing on how to play genuinely bad as if I was only just a beginner and had no idea what I was doing. And there's something very cleansing about that, you know what I mean? And just kind of okay, wipe the slate clean. But then I thought, how many solos have I played on records? I mean, thousand. I
Yeah.
mean, would it kill anybody if I just played one bad one? I think
Well,
it'd be
yeah,
very
the
entertaining.
world. There's a
It'd be
lot of
very
people that would be on you about it. There's a lot of people in their basements that would be making comments about that one solo for the rest of your life. So
the thing. I would probably get more attention for that than all the good solos that I work really hard on. And here's what I would do. I do it over a song that's built to have this like transcendent, multifaceted solo section, like a tooth and nail that goes through changes, key changes, and so forth. Real interesting. I'll create this bed and this anticipation in the song before this part comes up to where, okay, this is it. This is George's big extended thing. Everybody take acid and smoke pot. And, we're having a party and we just got the album. We put the needle down and here we are. Lynch is going to blow our minds and then just completely shit the bed for like 2 minutes. I don't know. I just think that's a brilliant idea. I don't know why you don't agree with me. I'm
I
glad you're
think
not.
you know what it is. I feel like it'd be a nice left turn, be kind of like an Alan Holdsworth thing where you kind of go left to right, where people just don't totally get it. It could be like one
Oh,
of those
Al,
hidden genius.
yeah,
Alan Holdsworth is the best. Just I'm gonna put that out there right now. He's like
no,
one
this
of my
isn't
favorites.
Bad Alan Holdsworth is still magnificent. No, no, this is a whole other thing. This is like bad CC DeVille.
Oh,
Bad Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley is super drunk and with like two broken fingers. I don't know. It's just an idea. I probably won't do it, but
I mean, you're running out of albums.
hey,
I don't know.
listen,
You got
listen.
a lot of albums
I
out.
don't know why you're denying this old man his dreams. You know what I'm saying? A man can dream, can he?
You could do it. I mean, you're just describing it. If I recorded an album right now, that's what it would sound like. So there's
Well,
no need for
listen. I
you to
think you
do
ought
it.
to change the name of your radio program to Dream Killers. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, it's
You
fair
do what
enough.
you want.
I will think about that. I'll keep that under my hat.
All right.
So, but you are though a very, very proficient in like writing albums and writing albums. I mean, are you losing track of like your solos and like music you've written at some point though? Do you feel like you may have
Yeah.
written it and not recorded it, and then like, oh, did I do this before? Like you may have used it out there,
Oh,
but you may have already used it without.
absolutely. There are things that I recycle unintentionally. Well, I mean, you just can't help it. I mean, I'm just one person with a limited amount of ideas, and I'm not doing it intentionally. Although sometimes I will catch myself mid riff when I'm writing,
Yeah,
let's say, and I'm in the studio, and because I generally write in the studio most of the time. I just compose, um, you know, it's capture an idea and then build on it and construct the song that way. And I'll get to a section and I'll play something I know I played before. I don't know what record it was on. I don't know what song it was. I don't know if it was 20 years ago or last year, but it sounds so familiar to me that I know I've done this before or something very similar to this. And sometimes I'll mix it and sometimes I'll just go with it anyways. I go, because you know what? It's in a different context and it'll be a different singer. And you know what? AC/DC has made a career out of the same 5 chords for 50 years. So why can't I redo just one little part? I mean, who's going to sue me? Me?
It's sort of your part. So I mean, yeah,
I'll drag my ass into court. You know, I'll have my law firm Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, and I'll sue myself, and I'll win and I'll lose.
I'm sure it won't be the first or last time there's a legal battle in your life. So
right. I'll be on the stand and I'll be cross-examining myself. I'll have to get out of the box and go back, ask the question, and go sit in the box and respond. That would be a good video, actually.
that might be your next video. That might be your next video. I wanted to give you props. I laughed in your Time After Time video with your little Cyndi Lauper picture in the corner there.
Mm-hmm.
A little nod to the song. It's pretty funny. Whose idea was that to put that in there?
That was a legal disclaimer.
Was it?
So we didn't get in trouble and have to go to court with Cyndi Lauper.
What are you talking about? No, the picture in the video? No.
Well, I mean, we had to acknowledge that
You gotta give a shout out to her. It's
stole
really funny.
the name. We did steal the name. I mean, it was, but you don't get in trouble. You can reuse a name. That's seriously, I'm sort of kidding.
No.
We had a song called Street Fighting Man in 1990. Obviously not the Rolling Stones song. What I should do is write a song and call it Stairway to Heaven and Hotel California.
Together?
And well, no, two different songs. And then, but they'll be nothing like the ones that you think they are, right? And then, but just by accident, maybe like at least 100,000 people might accidentally buy it around the world. In a world full of 8 billion people, there's got to be 100,000 dummies that'll buy the wrong version of Hotel California and Stairway to Heaven, right?
Well, just with your name on it, they're gonna think you're redoing it. So just on you probably have a built-in sales model already on whatever you put out there.
It'll be this completely random song. It'll have nothing to do with the Eagles song or the Led Zeppelin.
But just that your name's on it.
But just title it that and, put it on iTunes or however people buy music these days. And it'll probably sell something, right? People buy it accidentally. No refunds. We'll have to put a big disclaimer on there.
You might want to do that.
Dude, just having you as my manager for the last 15 minutes, we already had 3 great ideas.
And I don't even have to say anything. That's even the best part of our relationship.
Well, that's usually the manager does their best work when they don't do anything.
I'm just trying to keep up with you. This is the same speed you put out your albums out too, though. I mean, this new album is probably like one of my favorite ones that you've done in the Lynch Mob mode since probably the earlier years. It feels like it's more in that rock vein, I think what happens is your sound has changed a lot in each Lynch Mob album. Was that on purpose or just an evolution?
Well, it is on purpose, but it's not like it's not like I'm reacting to previous sounds and trying to change, evolve or anything. It's just that my whole life I've been trying to get one sound and it's just different. Every record is an attempt to achieve that. Mm-hmm. And I do it in various ways and hit and miss to various amounts and degrees. And this is just another example of that. But, when Jeff Pilson and I would sit around and write songs and get guitar sounds back in the 80s, I mean, we never could capture what we heard in our heads and what we were trying to achieve, which was, I don't know exactly what you would call it, but, we wanted to have that sort of purity of, let's say, an AC/DC rhythm sound, it just sounds like a PAF pickup with a vintage Gibson into a plexi that's not dimed, and then it's got all this dynamics and all this beautiful tonality and every whole frequency spectrum, and you can hear your fingers on the fretboard and all this and that, and not saturated by distortion. And we've still loved that sound. I love the sound of an AC30. I love all the late 60s and 70s rock music that I grew up with and that Jeff grew up with. And that's what we're aiming for. and we still are, we're still just chasing that dragon, that tone dragon.
I think you have a sound like a lot of the great guitar players in your fingers, no matter what you're playing. You sort of have a certain sound. Like Eddie Van Halen, when you just pick up a guitar, it sounds like you, no matter what you're playing at this point. You know, I think that's just inherently who you are. I mean, you do have
To an
certain effects
extent,
you use into. I think, but that's in your fingers. There's a certain sound when you get to a certain level of
yeah.
playing. That's just who you are. And for the most part, you always hear it in all your music. I think the only album that kind of threw people off was it the Smoke and Mirrors? Was that the one that had rap on it? That was the one.
Smoke this.
Yeah, Smoke This. That was the one. That one kind of was a little bit different than anything. But most of the albums pretty much sounded like you. Oh, the good music did, but you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I can't not sound like me, no matter how hard I try. I mean, I try, there'll be little things on various records where I'll kind of do something different and go for a completely different sound just for some ear candy or for an effect,
hmm,
or for a different approach just for the hell of it. And, it's still me. I can't run away from that. Nor do I want to, but, um, I mean, this, but we referring to the Smoke This record that we did, I think it was 1999 or 2000. It was considered sort of a rap metal record. And the band, people joke that it should have been called Lynch Bizkit. And I love Limp Bizkit, by the way, one of my favorite bands of all time.
no, but loving puns,
And,
I thought that was pretty hilarious. I'm a pun lover, so like, you gotta be honest, it's kind of funny.
yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
Lynch Bizkit.
Yeah, you
Uh,
gotta love puns.
it's what we should have called the album, actually.
That would have
It's
been the
actually
best.
really, honestly, yeah, no, of course they should. I bet if they re-released it with that name, and as my manager, could probably make that happen.
That's one of the first things that's going to
You
happen.
talk to
But I will talk to the
yeah,
people. I'll have them take care of it. But yeah,
and
it was heavy. It just threw. I think you do a lot of stuff though. I think it's what it comes down to is like, and I think going into the Lynch Mob thing, I think Lynch Mob came out. People it was more of a rock thing. So hearing it kind of do a lot of different things. Eventually, you start doing a lot of other projects, a lot of different other sounds. So it's almost like you didn't know what we're going to get from each one. Like with Lynch Mob, I kind of felt it's going to be more of a rock album. I think that's why more people were thrown. Whereas supposed like your soul albums or KXM, you all have different
yeah,
sounds each time now.
yeah. I mean, I grew up came up thinking, well, everybody's like me. I like surprises, and I want my heroes and my artists and bands to be adventurous and surprise me and challenge themselves as a musician. That's the way I thought, and I assumed most people thought that way. And of course, I've come to the realization over the decades that that's absolutely untrue. That people are generally very conservative with their music, and they want their Coke to be Coke, and they don't want you to deviate from
Mm-hmm.
your brand. They
Yes.
want AC to be AC/DC, Van Halen to be Van Halen, Judas Priest to be Judas Priest, and you know, I'm just not built that way, unfortunately. I mean, it's not good or bad, but it, from a marketing standpoint, it is not good.
Right.
To be
Well,
all
I
over
think
the
it just
map because
confused the brand of
people love
Lynch Mob probably more than anything else because you do a lot of other soul stuff. Sorry to mean step on you. Like you do a lot of other different stuff now, but I think that probably just confused a lot of Lynch Mob fans early on. That you kind of did a lot more different stuff with that same name brand. You know what I mean?
yeah, Lynch Mob's got kind of a thing that we try to adhere to most of the time. That's true. And then I have all these other projects I can do different things. But any project that I do that deviates and veers from kind of my source thing that I'm most known for is always uh, less successful. For instance, I think it was earlier this year or late last year, we released this record called The Banishment. And it is very different and almost industrial in some
Mm-hmm.
ways, but maybe other qualities too. I'm not even sure how to classify it. But it's it's heavy and it's guitar based rock music. It's just not what people know me for normally, but it's something that I really love. I love industrial music. And it was sort of my attempt at it. And it came out like not really industrial, but sort of like this other thing, this other animal. I didn't know how to define it. But it's very interesting, layered, dense record with all kinds of surprising intricacies and interesting touches and just layers, like this tapestry, this architecture that we spent 10 years building and put it out. And it sold the least amount of records of any release in my lifetime.
I don't even think I heard of it. I follow a lot of like I like the Ultraphonics record. I like that one. They
Yeah,
did.
yeah, that's
So I'm
pretty
aware.
straight
Yeah, but
hard
I'm
rock.
saying, yeah, but I'm saying I like when you do different stuff. I just missed that album totally.
Well, go back to the
I will
record that
now.
was go back to the record previous to Ultraphonics, which was the predecessor to that record, which same band is Project Infidelica.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that record. Also, very, very poor sales, but a very interesting record. It's really funny. Basically, all we did was we replaced Angela Moore with Corey Glover, but it's the same band, and we decided to go a little more mainstream hard rock with Ultraphonics. But really, the core of that is Project Infidelica, which was incredibly experimental for us, almost in the I don't even know what band you would equate it with, but what we did was we went into like this very tiny purist R&B studio in downtown Los Angeles, and you play on their equipment. So they have like these dead Rogers drum sets. You all have to play at the same time, and it goes to tape. They record to tape, and so you have to be rehearsed. There's no overdubs. There are overdubs, but very minimal overdubs, like overdubs.
This is their rules or your rules?
Their rules that we were happy to adhere to, because
Okay.
we wanted to do the record like that.
Yeah.
And it was a great live band. We actually toured on that project. Angela Moore, I'm sorry, is the world's greatest living frontman, and he's a fucking genius. And I work with a lot of singers, and this guy is a freaking genius. I won't get into why I came up with that opinion of him, but spending a lot of time with him and creating with him, and I just he's a monster. And why he's not super famous, gigantic superstar is sad, beyond me, but whatever. But anyways, it was a great experience, and I loved that band. And again, sold nothing. So and the records that have sold the least are my favorite records that I've done, which tells you something about me. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think it's
But my
more
mainstream
outside the
rock
box.
records are not as interesting. I'm not challenging myself as much, and they're just sort of. I look at it sort of like I'm paying the rent. I mean, they're fun, and I like doing them, of course, and I get off on it. But it's I'm not working as hard as I am when I'm doing like a Project Infidelica or a Smoke This record or a Banishment record. Those are I have to really, or even KXM, I have to really dig deep and
Doug was saying
stretch
that
myself.
you don't remember what you do half the time, in a nice way. Like when you're jamming, you got to have your guy helping record stuff. They'll be like, "Did you remember that?" You're like, "What did I just play?" Because like sometimes you're just
Oh,
in a like not a trance, but you're saying like in a mode that you're just flowing. You're not
oh,
thinking.
oh, absolutely. That's the first thing I tell my engineers when I work with them, which is basically all I work with is one other person. I'll have an engineer pushing the buttons, recording, and that's the first thing. And every project I do, we miss stuff because I'll do something and they just weren't recording, and I just can't remember what it was. But I'm just moving really fast. I mean, my brain's moving fast, and I'm just I'm playing stuff,
Right.
and I can't stop and think about it because I can't ever remember anything I played. And so that's the thing. My engineers learned very quickly that to always be recording, and that's how we write, and that's how we write very fast and very efficiently. We're efficient with our time. I mean, I just finished writing and recording the second Durley Shirley record, which will not be called Durley Shirley, it'll be a different name because Dino won't be singing on it. But um,
Is that because of all
uh,
the weird legal stuff with him?
yeah.
Great
So we
voice.
got a
Great voice, though. Great voice.
great, we got a great female singer. So
Oh, cool.
fantastic. It's actually Dino's favorite singer, and Dino's her favorite singer. So it's in the same world, but
Yeah.
she's really great. And and I we were searching for titles for the name of the new project, and it was running. We've been running back and forth, with the record company and the band members, all these different titles, and I just put a joke one in there. I put Dirty Bernie, and that's obviously a joke, a play off Dirty Shirley. I just got an email this morning from the president of the label in Italy that he loves that name. I mean, you gotta fucking be kidding me.
Probably envisioning some kind of great visual, some cartoony, some kind of, I don't know.
No, that's fucking
looking,
weekend. That's like Weekend at Bernie's. There's some dead guy out there or something. I don't know. What?
Well, careful what you say, right?
They're not gonna use it, but they did like it.
That's pretty funny. But so you've done it before though. So obviously with Ultraphonics you swapped singers and it changed that dynamic. But changing the singers changed it. I mean, you did TNN, changing most of the original band of Dokken, but you changed out the singing obviously. So it's always going to be different for fans. Like they always kind of the core is not always going to translate differently. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what this version does with not really Dirty Shirley anymore. It's the core of you guys with the new singer, kind of a new band. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a completely new band. There's actually the only person from the original Dirty Shirley is me.
Oh, you said it like it was like doing another Dirty Shirley, but with a new singer. So I felt like it was like,
well,
I'm gonna do Dirty Shirley, but with all new members and a new name.
It is a whole new project. Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole new project.
So, well, because it started out as it's really the reason. See, I'm looking at it business wise because it's a part of my contract. So I have a contract label to do so many of these records, right? And so this is my second record I'm committed to doing. Contract do. So for me, it's the contract is Dirty Shirley. So that's that's how I categorize it in my mind. But yes, we didn't use Will Hunt on drums.
He's good.
Yeah, Jordan Kanata.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah, from Evanescence. Yeah, but the new drummer we have is great. It's Jordan Kanata. He's in Slaughter right now, and I don't know who else he's played with. Young kid, very good. He was in Lynch Mob for a while. He subbed for Jimmy. And then we have Sandra on vocals, and yeah, it's and the writing is different, so it's a whole different thing. So again, I'm just really gonna confuse myself and other people by starting a whole brand new project, which is unfortunate, I think, in a way. But for hardcore fans that like new stuff and want to see me try new things, I'm sure they'll enjoy it. But I was just reading, I think last night or this morning, a John Lennon interview or something, and he was talking about somebody, and they were having another famous artist, and they were having this discussion about how many records they do, and and the person told John Lennon, "Oh, we do like I do 2 or 3 albums a year," and he goes, "Well, that's way too many. You just And I thought about that, and he says, you do 1 album every few years, and that's all people can absorb. That's all the market can absorb, and you're just really diluting, your product. You're just taking the same thing and rehashing it, keep putting it out there. We'll put different names on it, and I hope I'm not doing that.
I think there's 2 different schools of thought. I think, I think financially or image-wise, maybe on some level, but then again, it's not linear anymore. The market's changed so much. It's not like album sales and things weigh a certain way, and Instagram's so different now. But also,
yeah, it's easy for multimillionaire John Lennon to tell us that, right?
I was just reading somebody else's complaint about John Lennon doing Imagine, singing that from his mansion. And so that kind of upset a lot of people too. So
yeah, you know what? He could tell me that is when he starts paying my rent.
Well, I think it's like a lot of painters painted a ton of pictures, and then later on the value was up. They didn't paint one painting every couple of years. You create when you can create, especially if it's coming out of you. You're an artist.
Maybe I'm the Basquiat of guitar players.
Maybe you are, or Van Gogh, or whoever else, right?
I mean, if a punk comes up to me on the street, gives me $15, I'll play a solo on his iPhone for him. Because they find all these Basquiat things, that he did on cardboard, and that were just laying in alleys and stuff, you know, when he was all drugged out and turning tricks and doing anything for, $20, you know, he just paint on, I don't know if that's true, but you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I mean, the more you embellish it, the better the story gets, though. So, as your manager, I'm going to encourage you to keep it going.
yeah.
No,
Well,
but then the point is
as long
taken.
as you're
Has there been
backing me
any
up in
band?
court.
Yeah, is there
But
any painter that's actually been successful during their time period? I don't even know at this point. Very few. So, as a musician, I think you should create as much as you can while you have it in you. You know, some musicians can't create at all. You know, I
yeah,
talk to people, they're
well,
like, I can't write
there's
half the time.
there's all that posthumous adoration that happens, the day after you die. But man, I just like to encourage people to just like appreciate me right now while I'm still alive, and buy some of them records, and so I get the money now while I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? That'd be pretty cool. I really appreciate that.
You have a lot of albums out though too. There's a lot. It's like to consume all your albums is a lot. That's like more than most people listen to. You do have a lot.
Yeah,
You
the new
know,
record's gonna be called "Buy This Before I Die,"
buy this before I die. This. Well, and actually, we should
and
talk.
and
We actually
the new
no, please.
tour was also gonna be "See 'Em Before They're Dead" tour. It's gonna be the Dokken reunion. Yeah, "See 'Em Before They're Dead," or conversely, we could call it "Beating the Dead Horse Tour." And we'll actually have a horse, as you suggested when we talked earlier about this, a horse kind of strapped up in front of a curtain, and the four of us kept just had big sticks and we're beating the shit out of it.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's just funny because I remember that. It was just a while back in the conversation.
I think you were drunk.
That was me. You got me to a T on that one. I think that would be a
Which
good
is
one for you.
most of the time.
Most of the time, that's the problem with me.
But that's when
But
you have your good ideas.
well, when I get back from rehab, I'm really concerned about our whole dynamic. But my
Yeah,
sobriety might affect our relationship. So
you'll live longer, but your ideas will suck.
they've always sucked. It's okay. You actually, besides all this other writing, you did actually. I want to talk about another album you did. Your second album, Heavy Hitters, which I really dig too. It's fun because doing cover songs can be awesome or be totally lame. You know, you got to be able to do it fun, kind of honor it, but kind of put your own flavor onto it. And that's my opinion. Everyone has their own views on how they want a cover song done.
Hmm.
I think I enjoy the Heavy Hitters because I feel like it has each album actually you have different singers in each album, and they're both fantastic singers. Um, and you guys just do something fun with the albums. You honor them, but you don't make it exactly the same. You know?
Heavy it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess something about I think maybe maybe the way you hear it, and want to put it out. I like the relationship that you and Jeff have as songwriters too, as a team. You guys have always been very good songwriters together. So it's good to see you guys.
What do you
You
think
know,
of this singer compared to, on this Heavy Hitters record, Heavy Hitters 2, to the singers on the first record?
the singer was it this one? Is he was the one who sings for the Rolling Stones, right? Or is it vice versa?
Yeah, right. He's the singer in the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, well, backup singer. It's not Mick Jagger. Just paying
No,
attention. He's not the singer.
I knew you were going
He's
to
the
get
other singer.
all make that
Look,
that
listen, I'm your
unimportant
manager. I got to
distinction,
keep
but
things
whatever.
legal for people. You know, you can go off on your artistic world as the manager. I can make sure people are aware of the legal ramifications. You're not saying Mick Jagger is the singer of that band. Yes, I
Well,
do like him. I probably like him better on this with I don't know. Not the other one's a good singer too, but I just I really like his voice. Is what it is. I think in particular,
it's great when a singer has a good voice. I like that too.
it is really
It's
important.
a plus. It's a real plus. Uh, no, but
But
I'm concerned now. You said that about the record because we may have to pull the album and reprint the cover because it says featuring the
yeah,
singer from the.
yeah,
But as you pointed out, that might get us in hot water. So
it could. It could. You should keep with the original design that you have now. But I mean, as far as that goes, that relationship, you guys always have a lot of original songs you write. So cover song thing seems like a little change. Is it just kind of a fun thing and it evolved?
I'll tell you, Bernard Fowler is one of the. I mean, he's just phenomenal, fucking amazing singer, and to be with him in a room. I mean,
He should be
it's
bigger
just
as a solo
he's
singer.
just ridiculous. I mean, and just so soulful, and he's got all that blues, all that soul, all that R&B, all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's right there. Um, he's just man, I was just like an honor to be in a room with the guy and be sharing studio with him and being able to share music writing with him. And we've always wanted to work together, and we talked about it for years and years and years. And finally, I was just like, the light bulb went on. I go, wait a minute, let's talk to Bernard. And he was down, and man, this just makes my get goosebumps just talking about it.
Well, hearing the album, I had to go back and listen to other stuff. I had to backtrack. Like I liked the first album, so I was excited to get the second one. But then when I heard it, I heard him. I'm like, wow, this singer stands out even more to me on a level that I got to see what else this singer does as solo work to to back go down the rabbit hole with it.
I mean, I don't listen to guitar music, and I don't really care that. I mean, I care about it, but for me, what I really get enthusiastic about and what I love is singers. I that's what I naturally listen to all the time, and I think any other instrument other than drums every instrument is emulating the human voice and drums. So we're just beating on logs and singing, and I mean that's all everything is, including my guitar playing. My guitar playing, because I'm unschooled as far as theory or anything like that. I'm just, my fingers are playing percussively. I'm tapping out beats and different divisions of kind of complex beats that are just flowing through my head, and with notes attached to them that are emulating a voice. I mean, I'd rather listen to Etta James than fucking Yngwie.
Well, that goes without saying. A couple people, yeah. But I think the thing is with that, it's just the voice is different. The voice can't last forever. You will sound like you, probably, unless you get some crippling disease in your fingers, longer than say other singers you've been in bands with that are controversial. Your voices are changing over the years. You know what I mean? Because physically, your fingers aren't going to change the same way a voice changes. So it's even more special for a singer in their voice. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't last forever sometimes. Unless you're like Sammy Hagar or someone, or such.
That was what was so beautiful about Jeff Beck, is that he was very good at getting as close as you can imagine to emulating a human voice, I thought, with his guitar. Or if not emulating a human voice, being more voice-like in his playing.
But he never, as popular as he was, he never got as big as you'd think he would be, like big commercially. I mean, he was big, but not like guitarists and musicians really loved him. But he wasn't slamming on the charts towards the end. You know what I mean? And I love him. But you know what I'm saying? He wasn't appreciated. Well, it happened.
He was as big as he needed to be. I mean, and that's the thing with this business. It's like, well, you can look at yourself, I think, from two different perspectives. One is compare yourself to everybody else, and that's in any field or endeavor, I imagine. And you'll never be satisfied. Or look at it in terms of what you do have, and not what you don't have. And so, I mean, Jeff Beck did very well. I mean, he led a very comfortable life, and he was able to do everything he wanted to do. So I think he was successful in that sense and create all the music he wanted to create.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm saying, to me, I think he's so awesome. He should have been even bigger because he was like a living legend at his level. I'm saying, to that point. You also did a guitar album. So at this pace, you released 3 albums this year alone. You slow it down. I mean, this album is probably this is Lynch Mob album is probably one of the strongest ones you've had in my mind. Like that rock and metal sound. This group, you guys together sound great. The clips on, I've seen the album. You guys are gelling well. I know this is your last tour, you say, but I mean, Lynch Mob has kind of always been like a school of rock anyhow, where you've had a revolving cast to fit the needs of the albums and time and what's going on in your life. So it's really kind of just a moving piece anyhow to say it's the last tour. I mean, change the title of it. I know you want to keep going on touring anyhow, right? For years on end, right?
No, I don't know. But I think
that was like
the idea
questions, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I get what you're kind of getting around there, and that's basically,
you're sounding your best. Well, you don't want to put yourself in a box now because you're sounding so good.
Thank you.
Not slow down.
Well, the band was obviously in a state of flux for many years, and has been Lynch Mob has been a revolving door. And in some ways we've sort of been looking back over the years and decades and trying, in some greater or lesser extent, trying to capture some of that magic and lightning in a bottle that we achieved with the first record, Wicked Sensation. But I don't think we're doing that anymore. With this lineup, with Jordan and Gabriel, Jimmy and myself, and we've been together now for a while and touring, quite a bit, and feel very settled in and comfortable with ourselves personally and musically. And we go out and we're very consistent and we kick ass and we know we're good, and we have this thing. So we're like, okay, we need to document this. And it felt like we needed to make a record. It's been a while since we made a Lynch Mob record, 5 years, I think. So, and then after we made the record, we thought, well, maybe this is the way we should go out. Because I'm going to be coming up on 70, and I'm like, and Lynch Mob is not the biggest band in the world, so when we tour, it's still rough. It's not. I mean, it's not that rough, but it's not like I'm Bon Jovi or something driving around in a jet,
Right.
or staying at the Four Seasons, which I wouldn't want to stay at anyways. But what I'm saying. So it's tough. The traveling's tough and this and that, and just don't want to do that anymore. So, but I do love playing live. So, what we decided was like, well, let's give ourselves a long window, a year and a half, and let's support the Babylon record and tour the shit out of it and call it the final ride. 24, we're going to play into the very front of 25. Our last show will be March of 25 at the Rock Cruise. And that'll be it. And I feel good about that, because I'll be 70. I don't really want to be out there doing it the hard way.
I respect that. I respect that. I'm just saying, as a fan, it feels like this album itself and the idea of, it feels like this lineup right here, you guys are having fun. There's no baggage. It feels like just the gates are off, and it just feels, I don't know, just different. This album, this lineup with you, and it could just be me hearing it. I could be wrong. So it just feels like it's a fun thing, and it feels like I want more of it.
Sometimes when you overthink things, the listener can hear that, and it sounds kind of stiff. And this record was very uninhibited because it was done that way. It was sort of conceived that way and sort of on the fly. And it was a result of us just jamming together, and all the shows we do, and a lot of ideas come up at sound check, or, we do actual jam things in our show where we just stop and I'll come up with a riff and we just play with it in front of the audience. The audience doesn't know what it is. We don't know what it is. And a lot of those things turned into songs, so that's pretty much how it was made. And I think you get that with the record. It was just sort of, we weren't like, oh, we have to make this gigantic statement that's going to be the greatest, and it's going to be the greatest rock record of all time. We were really trying to prove anything. We were just channeling who we were, and we were pretty relaxed during the process. I mean, we took our time with it, and we, paid attention to things and made sure it was right, and overcame obstacles and problems and things like that, like you have with every record. But still, wasn't like, okay, we're going to write 100 songs and pick the best 20 and then get a producer and redo this and redo that. We just, it was done relatively quickly, and we just captured a moment, and it's really who the band is. I mean, we've been playing songs off the record since we wrote the songs, so we were playing these songs live for quite a while now. And there hasn't even been a record out, and people were digging the song. So I'm like, oh man, that's a good sign.
Is it harder with so many songs to tour as Lynch Mob? And obviously, you always have Dokken songs in there too, because they're songs you were part of writing also, or you wrote, and could get into it. To mix them together and then have more Lynch Mob songs in there. Like, you want to put more Lynch Mob in, but the people want. I mean, because don't forget, I mean, everyone remembers their first band, no matter what you do. Any artist ever does, they always remember their first band, like in high school, and that's how they picture that artist forever. You know what I mean? So you've got that behind you forever.
Oh, I get that.
It's good. If all bands be in, Dokken is a good band. So I mean, it's not like you were in a crappy band, So
yeah, I mean, I remember going to see David Bowie, and many years ago, and he did a tour where he didn't play any of his old songs. And boy, I wasn't just bummed, I was pissed. I goes, this is not what I paid for. I don't want to hear any of this crap. I don't even know what these songs are. And I love David Bowie, but I hated it. It was absolutely horrible experience, concert experience, very frustrating. So I don't want to be that guy, just be so self-indulgent and selfish with my music, we're out there to serve our fans, and serve the music. And, I mean, we do have some self-indulgent moments. Like I said, when we do an improvisational, departure, a lot of times live. I love to do that personally. Is just kind of make something up on stage and see where it goes. And sometimes it falls apart, and sometimes it's cool. But I think that's pretty a cool thing to do, and very unique, because you don't see that anymore in music.
No, very few artists do that.
Ever. I mean, those jam bands, it's a whole genre now. And I listen to those bands, Humphreys McGee and Goose and Fish and
Dweezil Zappa does it. He goes out on a limb every live show.
Oh, good for him. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do it, and obviously jazz and other genres, they do it. But I'm not talking about extended solos. I'm talking about just making shit up on the spot and everybody's following along. Very difficult for a singer to do, but easier for a band, a drummer and a bass player, guitar player, in a three-piece situation. If they're all tuned in, they've been playing together a long time and they're listening to each other, and they sort of anticipate where they're going. And sometimes you do build up sort of a framework, okay, there's going to be 8 of those or 16 of those, and then there's a logical change coming up. It's not anything complicated. You can sort of see where it's going, and you jam over that and whatever, see where it evolves to. I mean, Hendrix did that, and that's what I grew up with, and I love that. I love doing that. And I don't know if it's fair to do to the audience, and if they appreciate it, I don't really know, but
I mean, at this point, all the albums you've done and all the changes you've done, I don't think it doesn't make a difference now. I mean, I think everyone's aware of who you are, that you're going to kind of do what you're going to do. You know what I mean? It's not like this is your first album. People know you by now.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of done everything you want at this point, so just do it. I was just kind of curious because there are Dokken songs, but you have a lot of really good Lynch Mob songs that were popular, and a lot of new good songs on this album too that would fit in just as well. So you've got a huge catalog to squeeze into a small amount of time. It's like something's got to sacrifice. It's got to be kind of a hard choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is a very interesting. I used to be a rehearsal nut all my life. We'd rehearse 100 days for one show. Just rehearse, over rehearse. And I always thought that was very important to do. And then as we got into these more recent years, and it wasn't a practical thing. You'd have band members from all over the country, and it was hard to get together. It was expensive, and that kind of scared me for a while. And then I found that, it didn't really matter, because we have all this muscle memory. We're playing these songs we've played a million times. You show up, you do a long sound check. That's your rehearsal. You go out, play the show, and it's been fine. So this version of Lynch Mob has never rehearsed.
Well, maybe that's why it seems more
never
lighthearted,
rehearsed
more
for the
fun.
album. We never rehearsed for a tour. But the downside of that is that, yes, we are not able to dig deep into the catalog and do other, even maybe some variations on cover ideas that we all want to try or something. We need to have a bigger reservoir, a set list for this upcoming year and a half final ride. So we are going to go into deep rehearsals, I believe in January, so to get in front of this big tour schedule that we're going to have, so that we can do exactly as you mentioned, and really pull, have a lot more options, and be able to pull stuff from more recent Lynch Mob records, and also, interestingly, from some of my other projects. So just, I don't know. I mean, just talking off the top of my head, but maybe a song off The End Machine, or KXM, or Sacred Groove, or even my, Exciter from before Dokken. I don't know.
Fun,
Interesting, deep track. or stuff that maybe did pretty well, but they weren't big hits off more recent Lynch Mob records. I don't know, but you know, play something from where there was a period where we were playing some of the Bullet Boys stuff. It was fun to play.
Oh, good, Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy is Bullet Boys. Yeah, so we would do that just to kind of deepen the set, and make it an interesting kind of little thing. So all that kind of stuff. So we're going to broaden our set options for next year. So when people come see us, they're not going to come see the show that they saw last year.
Yeah. Well, that means you do have a lot of good songs. And that's kind of my point. Like, it seems like a shame to just do. I love hearing the Dokken songs, and hearing them sounds great, but you have a lot of other stuff. But the point is, you do have a lot of material, and
Dirty Bernie song.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to thank you for being on the show, man. I appreciate it. We could talk about some of this stuff. It's been good.
All right. I actually just been getting some messages here from the Dirty Shirley people about the band titles here. So I think this is going to be the day that we decide. So if you get any ideas you want to chime in, just go ahead and text me.
You never know. I just might. All right.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being on. People, check out the album. All 3 albums we talked about. And then, there's a lot we talked about. Actually, check out the Singer on Heavy Hitters too. There's a lot out there. Dig deep. And, hopefully we'll see you on tour when you come around. That'd be awesome.
All right, Sean. Well, thank you for spending the time. And it was very enjoyable.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.